Welcome back to the Nothing to Something podcast. Now, this is the podcast that's been put together as a platform to share real stories from real people, showcasing their journeys towards success and all the struggles involved along the way. Now, before we move forward, please click subscribe on whichever platform you're listening on. This is going to provide you with all the top draw content to come, as well as keeping me pushing to produce it. Now, this week's guest is a two-timed Muay Thai World Champion, gym owner, striking coach, and all-round legend of UK Muay Thai. Please welcome to the podcast, Panicos Yusuf. Panicos, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I am absolutely gassed, mate. I'm not going to lie. Now and again, you come across these people like yourself who have a certain aura, a certain energy. And I'll keep it real with you, mate. When we agreed to do this and I was putting it together, I thought, I'm gonna do the introduction. And I started banding some bits together, and we're talking two times Muay Thai World Champion, a legend of the sport overall, someone who mere mortals like myself sort of envision as someone with a cast iron mindset as well as physical attributes. Someone who's massively humble as well at the same time, which must be a hard thing to pull off. There's so many things there that I want to get into: gym owner, coach, mentor. You've got a lot going on, man. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going on behind the scenes there. So thank you for coming on.
Great, looking forward to it, man.
I'm going to go straight into the deep end. I'm going to go deep on you, Pan. So I've just mentioned a hell of a lot of things that we're seeing from the outside in. From your viewpoint, who's Panicos?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Who's Panicos? I mean, there's loads of angles of Panicos. I suppose there's the fighter, there's the family man, there's the coach. Then there's I suppose other little businesses that I do, like an entrepreneurship. So there's a few little angles of Panicos, but essentially in the core, I'm the same person. And I use what I've learned throughout my experiences, mainly in martial arts, in life, in everything that I do. I carry the same mentality, you know, that kind of never giving up warrior spirit, you know. And yeah, that's how I live my life, day in, day out. No different.
Nice. And where did it all start? We've got a strange combination. We're with first name Panicos, last name Yusuf, and kind of where's that combination come from? You don't look English, you don't look Greek. I'm assuming the name Panicos is Greek. Yeah. Where's that combination come from?
So Panicos actually isn't my name. My actual name is Panayotis.
Okay.
So it's a Greek name, and everybody knows me as Pan because it's easier to pronounce. It's a Greek name. The Panicos variation is a Cypriot twist to the Greek name, and I was named after my dad's best friend, his childhood friend. So my dad's Turkish Cypriot, so his last name is Yusuf. But he was born in Cyprus, and that's where I've got my first name is Greek Cypriot, and then my last name is Turkish Cypriot. And then my mom's from the Philippines, so I look more Asian than I do either Turkish or Greek. Yeah.
Nice combination there. I knew there's something going on behind the scenes, but no, nice little insight. And you are the martial arts man, as we'll get into. There's so many facets that we'll get into. Not sure how long you've got. A couple of days maybe to cover everything that we need to cover. Just before we get into the martial arts, mate, was there a life before that? That's all I've ever known you for. I know a lot of people know you as the Muay Thai guy, and you've obviously ventured into MMA. You've got a lot of different facets going on. Was there a life before that? Was there a life before martial arts, or did I start at a very early age?
I mean, I started at the age of 16. The life before that was just as normal as any kid to teenager type of life. I mean, I got into fights and did silly shit really until I found martial arts, and that kind of put me on the straight and narrow. I found the one thing that kept me focused and took me away from all the temptations, if you like. And that's a common thing that I see nowadays in all the younger kids in the new generation. We're so quick to diagnose kids with ADHD and whatever and all these things just because they can't sit still in a class environment. I mean, I have a massive pet peeve about the whole educational system, so I'm not even going to get into that. But it's just that I just, after all these years, I can't understand how we haven't figured out a way to extract each person's talents and creativity, and not every kid learns the same way. So yeah,
I like
I
that.
found that. Yeah, I mean, I was never academically intelligent. In Cyprus, you need to pass your final exams every year in order to go to the next class, and I only ever did enough. And I mean, I really tried to do well, but I only ever did enough to pass. Otherwise, I would have stayed in the same class while my other friends were moving on. So you're made to feel stupid, really. But I had talents in other areas which, was never kind of brought out of me, or I didn't discover it myself until I was 16.
Okay. And you found that when you got discipline of martial arts, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, I was always into sports. I was doing football, basketball, volleyball, tennis. I was doing everything, anything that was going and that was accessible to me. I was doing it. I was cycling everywhere. I lived right next to the beach, so I was swimming all the time. So I was always active. I always liked being outdoors. I always liked doing active activities and stuff. I just hated classroom environment. Nothing ever thingy. So yeah, I mean, martial arts I was always attracted to martial arts. Like growing in the 80s, you've got your Van Dammes and your Jackie Chans and all that. So yeah, I always wanted to do some kind of combat sport, and because there wasn't any kickboxing gyms that I knew of near me, or any boxing gyms like that. So I ended up taking on karate. My dad found a karate gym for me. I did that for about 6-7 months, and even then it was on and off because there was only so many times I could punch the air before I got sick of it, really. So I really enjoy like the sparring and stuff, which we rarely ever did. So, and that's what I wanted to do. I mean, when I found Thai boxing at 16, and we got to smash some pads up, and then we got to do some real full contact sparring, I was hooked. That was it. I quit everything that I was doing at the time, and I went full on just Thai boxing. All I know was that's what I wanted to do. And that was that. I never thought of it as like that's the career path I'm gonna go down in. I just loved it, so I just went for it. I mean, that's how we find our careers and our passions for something. Though we find it, we start it as a hobby, and then all of a sudden it becomes your bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure. Nail on the head. In the coaching roles that I've done over recent years, and even with my own kids, I encourage them to take on as many things as possible with an eye to finding out what fits and what doesn't, what puts fire in your belly, what you enjoy, what you want to go back to, what you shy away from, and then move from there. So, yeah, I certainly get that. It's interesting to see that you said you loved sparring. You got hooked when you got into the sparring at sort of such an early age. That's not normal, is it? From my standpoint, no. I didn't start martial arts or boxing a little bit before martial arts, and not at a competitive level for the listeners, but even training in those fields until I was probably mid to late 20s, and sparring woke me up. It's a different ball game. You know what I mean? It's controlled. There's a lot of discipline there, but it's like a fight at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So to say that you were engaged in it and you were hooked at it at such a young age, maybe it was just your calling.
Yeah, that's it. But like, yeah, if I hadn't tried, or if I hadn't taken that step myself to go and find it, seek it out, I don't think it would have ever happened. Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. Law of attraction and all that.
Yeah, for sure. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Thing happens. Yeah, for sure. It's yeah, for sure. The going back to talking about where we started careers, usually from a hobby as such. Is I have this conversation with parents sometimes because the parents say, "Oh yeah, well, we've got to let them try everything to see what they like." And it's a little bit of a difficult one, really, because yeah, you want to get them to try different things, but then you also need them to stick at something, even when they don't want to do it, because if they don't see the other end of the tunnel, they won't know if they're good at that or not. It's very quick for us parents, me included, by the way, to go, right, we'll go do some dancing lessons and that, and then they do about 2-3 months, and they're like, no, I don't enjoy it, and be like, all right, okay, let's come out, because it's a little bit of discomfort, or I don't enjoy it because it's such a person or whatever. So then we say, okay, well, let's try something else. But for me, you have to be careful, because you're giving your kid a very easy get out, really. So every time something gets a little bit difficult, or I get into discomfort, I think, I can give up, because I know whatever I try, I can give up. I don't have to really go through something I don't want to. This is something, I don't know if you've seen, I did a post a while back about commending the parents, because the hardest job for the parent is bringing the kids into the gym. The easiest, once the kids are in the gym, our job is easy. It's they're scared of us, so they'll do what we say. But when you're bringing your kids, when you're dragging your kids off their PlayStations, off their gadgets, off doing whatever they're doing, and you're telling them to go and do some exercise, which is very uncomfortable, as you've seen at our gym, how we train our kids. And they're kicking and they're screaming in the back seat, and you're driving. It's stressful. You've had a long day at work. You could be chilling at home. Instead, you've got a kid crying in the back, and you're sat in traffic, taking them to do something that they don't enjoy or appreciate. I can get that. It's easy. So I really commend the parents who do that, who stay disciplined and stay steadfast, and get it done. That's the hardest job. So well done to the parents who do that. We take the kids to football on rainy days. We take kids to football on the one day off that they have on the Sunday. Do you know what I mean? And they stand around there like shivering in the cold. Man, good on you. Yeah, you know what, and you know what? The kids probably won't appreciate it when they grow up, but we as parents, we have one job to do, and I think that's we wouldn't be doing them justice if we didn't do that by them. It's one of those where the kids won't thank us until they're older.
We say that from experience. Yeah, looking back ourselves now.
Exactly.
Oh, spot on. Couldn't agree with you more there, by the way, mate. Just taking it back a little bit to your sort of journey and coming up. So you got hooked, you're in there, you're sparring, you found the gym, you found your calling in essence without really knowing it at that stage. When did you realise that it could become your thing, you could do this for a living, you could be actually good at this? That didn't come into my head until a very, very long time. Actually, until I moved to the UK 2010. So it probably took me about 10 years. About 10 years before I realized. So I started in 2000. In 2000, and in Cyprus, I started working my way up the ranks, and then eventually I started fighting for the national team for about 3 years or so. And after that, 2005, I moved to the UK. I got sick of the weather in Cyprus, so I thought I'd move to grey old England. And so when I got here, it was like starting Thai boxing all over again. It was a whole new level. The level here in England is, the Thai boxing in England is amazing. I mean, in martial arts, in combat sports, in general. In 2000, so I did a few jobs, valeting, recruitment, call center work, and that, which was really, really hard for me, as you can imagine, because I've already said, in the classroom environment, I hated the classroom environment, so you can imagine me in an office. But I did it because it was a means to an end, and it helped me buy my first house. So I'm not complaining about it. I just didn't enjoy it. I did it because it was something I had to do. But I still trained. I still competed. And then in 2010, my coach was retiring, and he was moving to Thailand, and he said, take over the gym. And I was like, it's great. Like, I always thought that I was going to run my own gym,
but not till I was like 30, 40 years old. No plan. Just a young kid with a $1 million idea, but never no plan on how to get there. Do you know what I mean? So he said, take over the gym, and I was thinking, well, take over what? 10 students, in a basement and stuff. There was nothing really, and because I wasn't anybody really at the time. The classes were dead. It was very, very hard. I took the leap. I took the risk. But yeah, we took it week by week. It was very, very difficult. I was only ever making enough to pay the rent. Sometimes not even that. So it was a hard one. There were many, many times where I spoke to my wife and I said, right, that's it. I'm going to shut shop and go back to work, get a job. And she was like, no, stick at it. She was only on like 16 grand a year, and we were living off her wage, basically. That was paying the mortgage and everything. And me as a man, you can imagine how emasculated it made me feel. Like I wasn't carrying my weight. As a man, you want to feel like you're the provider. You want to feel like, you're the one that your family relies on, but she saw my vision even more clear than me, and she believed in me, and that's what, and I felt an obligation to her to make it work,
So wholesome. I see this repeated, and so many times having the right people around you and the difference it can make. You already talked there about the fact that you thought about jacking in a number of times. That was going to be my next question there, mate. I say now, and I wouldn't have said this back in the past, I'd probably been one of them kids that you talked about earlier on where it got hard and I jacked it, my old victim mentality and what have you. But success really is a game of attrition. I see that more and more. And mate, testament to you, because if you would have give up, we wouldn't have been here now. The famous pan carved up lion.
Most definitely. And you're right. Having the right people around you, having the right person, because my wife could have easily been that type of person that was like, oh no, well, we can't afford it anymore. Well, we're struggling. You should go and get a job. That would have just, without thought, I would have gone and got a job, without thought, because I was already on the verge of doing so, but yeah, having the right people that believe in you and stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. And over time, I've met, it got better. I got, I was getting more successful with the gym year by year. It took a very, very long time, but eventually we got there. And over time, I've networked and I've met people that have helped me across my journey and helped me improve and make it better.
Massive, mate, massive. And how important do you think that networking is? That's another thing that's only really come to me quite late on. When I did get my head together, get myself together, it was me against the world in my head. I would go and get after it, and no one will beat me. I'm not going to stop. But you can't do it alone, can you, Pan?
No, it's, what, for me, bro, it's the, I always say it's I always say hard work doesn't go unnoticed. When you're an honest person and you're doing something with passion, someone who's got a bit of a better life than you will see that, and they will try and help you along the way. Do you know what I mean? And it's not that that's what you're looking for. It just happens. We're talking about law of attraction. You will attract the right people. You know what I mean? Why would I want to invest in someone who is lazy, someone who turns up late, someone who's not reliable? I would invest in someone who I see works 16 hours a fucking day. He's trying hard and he's still struggling. I would invest in someone like that because I believe in that person. And I think that's where that law of attraction comes, as well, where you'll attract the right people and they will help you along the way. Networking is very important. I always say we all have that $1 million idea, but we don't know how to start. We all talk about, when I have money, I'm going to do this. When I get to this, I'm going to do this. Fine, you have your 1 million idea, and you know what? There is no reason for it to become a successful business, but we don't know where to start. And I always say to people, stick to your plan, whatever your ultimate goal is, and then Go and speak to the right people. Go and speak to a financial advisor. Go and speak to a person who specializes in that area. Someone who's got a successful business in that area. They'll tell you one thing, and it'll be that'll be the start of it. That will help you. It'll take you far, very far. But if you talk to the right people, I always say you can't lose. It's very hard to, but you got to not want it. You got to need it. And I think that was the difference with me. Like, I needed to be successful. I needed to make the gym work. I needed to be a successful fighter. I needed it. It was like my oxygen. Like I would get an injury and I would be out of training for a week and I'd be absolutely depressed. Like, I'd be bouncing off the walls. Yeah.
That's evident from the outside looking in. That's evident. You don't see that a lot. Well, that's certainly evident. Having trained at All Powers for a while myself, and obviously seeing yourself and moving the way you've moved for a number of years now, that's evident, man. The passion's clear to see. So, Pam, when we're talking about sort of moving from the stages we've just come through and the struggles there, and I say all the time, strength from struggle. That's where we're forged from, and that's where the backbone comes from, in my opinion, going through things. Any time along this, did you envision where you were going to go to, what you could achieve? We're talking world champion status. We're talking the biggest shows in the world that you're fighting on. We're talking owner of a busy, thriving gym that everybody wants to get into. Was that ever in the vision, or did you get your head down, did you work, and then popped up and it was there?
Yeah, I never looked at it. I never had like a 5-year or a 10-year plan. I had that vision where, one day I'm going to be this. Or I'm a very in the moment person. I would keep my head down and I train and I teach, but I would do everything with absolute passion. When I'd get to a certain stage, so I'd fought someone who with credible reputation or in the rankings. Once I beat that person, I think, right, what's my next mountain that I'm climbing? I'm fighting him, But it was my goals were very short, so like baby steps, if you like, It was never like. I never went from like starting to fight to thinking I'm going to be world champion one day. It was just more, right, I want to fight for my first title now. So I would start working and I would sit with my coach and we'd go, right, well, who do you need to fight before you go for a title? Right? I need to fight this guy. Okay, cool. It'll take us about a year and a half. And that was it. That's how I do it. And then slowly, baby steps, reputation became better. Gym got busier. And then that's how it kind of came. To be honest, like obviously I have a great network of people around me. I've got good coaches. I've got my wife who helps at the gym as well. So for me, I don't see it as, it's not my gym. All Powers is not Panicos. All Powers is a community. All Powers is everyone. Yeah. Even the members. Without the members, we're nothing. So I never looked at it as like, oh yeah, one day I'm going to have over 100 members and I'm going to be making this much money. It wasn't in my head. No.
Nice. I like that. I like the reference to the baby steps there. That's something that seems to be a common theme as well. I know a lot of people do 5-year, 10-year, long-term plans and what have you, but essentially it needs to be broken back down into a day-to-day habit stacking basis, so we know what's needs to be taken care of day-to-day, week-to-week. So we're aligning. They say success leaves clues, as we'll get onto in a little bit. It seems as though we're aligning already. So, mate, congratulations on everything you've achieved so far, both as an athlete, as an elite athlete, as a fighter, as a business owner, etc. On the athlete side and reaching the heights that you've reached, would you say that's come through talent or from hard work, or a combination of the two?
I think a combination of the two, but mainly the hard work. Most definitely the hard work. The waking up, being disciplined, man. Like the amount of times I've wanted to pull out of a fight or not go and train. I couldn't count. I couldn't give you a number. But yeah, no, it was always hard work. Hard work over anything. That's my number one, man. Hard work over anything. So yeah, and to be a hard worker, you need to have good discipline, a strong will. Not getting distracted by your mates going, oh, go on then, it's only one drink. Come on, we want the outlet. No, mate, I'm not. You can't see my vision. You can't see what I'm gonna go.
Love that.
It's so you go and enjoy your drink. Have one on me. Have one for me, but I'm not. It's not. It's for me. These are very short-term fixes, you know. Yeah, like yeah. For me, it's I'm in it for the long game. Yeah.
Nice. So that takes us nicely into the mindset thing I was going to touch on a little bit, but we'll go there now. Talking about the mindset, and you just alluded there to the early mornings and wanting to quit, wanting to drop out of fight camp, but it never happened. You always showed up, even when you were tired, when you were hungry, when you were dieting, trying to make weight, when things weren't going your way, when the gym wasn't making money and there was no one at the classes. Where does a mindset like that come from? Because there is the successful people, and then there's successful people. There's athletes, and then there's athletes like yourself. And it really does come across like that. You've got a mind of steel to some degree, at least from the outside looking in. I've trained in the gym myself. I know a lot of the guys who've trained there over the years, and you hold high standards, not only of yourself, but of everyone around you. Where's that come from? Has it always been that way? Do you have the mindset coming up as a youth, or has it been forged through experience of life?
Yeah, I've always known my mind. Even as a young kid growing up, all my friends smoked, all my friends stayed out going partying, and they would try and peer pressure me, but I was always no. I don't need that to have fun. You know what I mean? So this is me. You either enjoy me as like this, or you know that was it. But nobody, yeah, no. I really believe that you can train hard through combat sports and stuff like that, through adversity and stuff. I really believe that you can train to have a stronger mentality. I do believe that you can train your body to be stronger, but to have that bulletproof mentality, I don't think you can teach that. I think it's something that you have or you don't. You know, like I say, I think you can train. I've trained. I've been training over 23 years in Thai boxing, and I've been teaching for a lot of it in that period of time. And I've trained people who used to go and not want to get hit, and then wanting to give up. But then I'll have a conversation with them, and they see it through. And I can see that they change. Their confidence is increases. They're more refined as human beings. They're mentally stronger, physically stronger. And they've got heart. When they're in the ring. I've had guys come to me in the corner and say, "Oh no, I can't. I'm gonna have to stop. And I mean, I won't say what I say, but I basically lose my shit and say, "You better fucking go in there and get the fight done." And you know what? I've had a couple of instances like that, and they won the fight. One being the title fight. And then as soon as we got out into the changing rooms, I went ape shit. I was like, "Do not ever tell me that you want to give up in the ring." Ever. You should be ready to die before you come out of there. And when you have that mentality that you've got to die, there's no way you can lose. How can you lose? Even if you lose on the scorecard, how can you lose in anything? If I've got that do or die mentality, I don't care. You got to kill me to get me out of here. You can't fucking lose in anything.
If you put it like that, I see where you're coming from. It can't be taught. That can't be taught.
But that's the worst. That's the worst that could happen, right? Is that we can die. So if we can die, which is what's so bad? I'll break my leg. I'll break a rib. So what? That'll heal up. But my pride will still be intact. I'll have a sore leg sitting up like this, not being able to do it. But I know I'll have that peace of mind that I stuck in that ring and I stayed there. Here's an example that I use of myself because it was a very, very low moment in my career and for me myself, it was a very embarrassing moment. Lockdown had finished, and obviously 2 years no training and stuff like that, and I came back to have my first fight, and I fought a guy who I'd fought previously and easily beat him, and on paper I should have beat him, and I got in there, and I went in there with overconfidence, like big head in me and stuff, and I gave it all in the first round. So I don't know if it's ring rust or what. I'm not making excuses. The fact is that I burnt myself out in the first round, so I was that tired I couldn't even defend myself, and I took a big elbow across the bridge of my nose, and he busted my nose. And I mean, after the first round in the corner, I was like this, I was blowing, and I was thinking, I've got 4 more rounds of this. And he caught me across the nose, and he busted my nose, and I couldn't breathe through the nose, blood splurting everywhere, and then I just went like this, and I said, no, I'm quitting. and I came out, and for a good couple of weeks, I wasn't sad that I'd lost. I was embarrassed of myself. I didn't care what people thought about it. I was embarrassed of myself. I felt ashamed that I quit, and I promised myself I will never ever. It was the first time I've ever done it in my 70 plus fights, because I've had amateurs as well before, and I said to myself, I will never ever ever quit again. They'll have to kill me to get me out. So then I had 2 more fights after that. Won my next fight, and then the fight after that, I got COVID during my camp. Anyway, then I recovered from COVID, and then I had 2 weeks left, and the promoter was like, "Do you still want to fight?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll still fight. You know, me being me with my fighter mentality." When I got in there after the first round, I just absolutely got drained. Like I had nothing in my arms. Nothing. I didn't realize how it affects people differently. I thought I was immune to it. And he was punching me. He was elbowing me. I had like 3 or 4 big cuts and stuff. I was a punch bag, and I was thinking, while he was hitting me, I was thinking, "You're gonna have to kill me. You're gonna have to kill me." You know, like in my head, I was thinking, "You're a fucking pussy. Come on, then, knock me out. You're gonna have to kill me." But nothing. And anyway, I seen it to the end of the fight, sorry. And I lost badly. And but I went home, and you know what, Mark? I was so proud of myself, because to me that was a win. That was a win to me. You know what I mean? Everybody else is a loss, but I don't care about everybody else, because to me, I'm true. I can be true to myself. I can look at myself in the mirror and say, "You're a fucking beast." You know what I mean?
Yeah, the heart that comes with it.
Man. Yeah, man. That's
and
it.
with all this we're talking about, man, I'm feeling a lot of people who are listening to this will relate some, but some won't be able to relate to the fight stuff. This is all transferable. Are you with me on that? This is all transferable to real life. Yeah. You don't quit. You stick things out. You start something. You do it like you mean it, like your heart's in it, and you see it through to the end.
Most definitely, man. I mean, and this is what I'm saying. Like, if I have this kind of mentality in combat sports, what is gonna be harder than this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to start a restaurant business, and it gets a little bit difficult. So what? I could get elbowed in the face. You know what I mean? It's nothing.
No, I love it. And that was another thing I wanted to touch on. So the transferable skills, we've seen it across a few different genres now. We've had a few sports people on the podcast. It seems as though there's a hell of a lot coming from, whether it be individual or team sports, and going into the rest of life, going into building businesses and that sort of thing. Is that something you found with doing them simultaneously? So being a fighter and running the business and running the gym at the same time, I think there's a lot of transferable skills there.
Yeah, most definitely. I've learned things along the way. I've been taught a lot of things along the way. A lot of trial and error, of course. But it's made me more confident to try new things. Yeah, most definitely. I find all my running a gym and fighting transferable to other areas of my life, and most definitely in taking calculated risks. A lot of people are scared to take risks, but as long as you cover your tracks and you make sure you do the right research, I mean, it's very hard to get it wrong. I mean, yeah, you might lose some money, but there's worse things that could happen. But yeah, it's made me more confident in trying new things, taking on new sports, trying new businesses. It's not I might not have any clue in certain areas, but I'm willing to learn along the way. Like just recently, I've taken on a property business with a friend. I don't know much about it, but I'm slowly reading up and doing my research, and hopefully it will be successful. Well, not hopefully. I believe that will be successful. And I'm not talking about, I'm manifesting and all this and blah blah, and putting that in the universe. Because I'm gonna make it work. I don't rely on anybody to make things work for me. I'm gonna make it work because I wanted to make it work.
That right there, that ownership. Love that level of ownership. It's rare nowadays. I love that level of ownership. And knowing you, I know that you'll make it work too. I really do. And just before we move on, Pan, let's just touch very quickly on All Powers. So the masterpiece that it is. I said before, I've trained there myself for a period. The respect that's in the gym, the high level fighters that are in the gym. It's sort of the place it is. It's a credit to you. It's a real credit to you. Just talk us through All Powers, what it is, and for the listeners, anybody who is local to the Northwest who wants to get involved.
All Powers, I believe, is one of the best gyms in the UK, if not around Europe. And I'm not talking about having the best fighters in the gym. I'm talking about what we provide and what we offer to the students, to the members. We're not in the business of creating savages. We're in the business of creating good people. That's essentially what we're trying to do. We're trying to create people to have more confidence, more refined humans. Because we don't have enough of them in this world. We don't even have enough confident people in this world. We don't have enough mentally strong or people who can control their emotions. There's a lot of that these days. So what we do at All Powers, I mean, you've seen the gym. We have a lot of members. We offer Thai boxing. But what we do in All Powers, the way I like to describe it is we pressure test. We pressure test all our diamonds. And then once those diamonds go through all that pressure testing, they'll come out shining. Some people don't stay. Some people stay for a year. Some people stay for 3 weeks. Some people stay for 2 years. And it's very difficult, because it's very disheartening for me as a coach, for the other coaches, to put a lot of time and effort in people, in fighters, for them to just leave. And I say to them, it's a given. We can't control what people do. We can't make them stay. It doesn't matter how much talent is wasted. All we can do is focus on the time that we have with them to try and make them the best versions of themselves as possible. If we can do that, then we're winning. That's it. That we can get fighters and take them out and beat other people up and get in the rankings and win titles. Amazing, great. But essentially, you can pick any random person from All Powers, and I guarantee you they will have nothing but great words to say about us. For me, All Powers is a place where people can come, not only to come and vent and get rid of all that days stress on the past, but to be around like-minded people, that be around that buzzing environment. There's none of that ego filled, testosterone filled, beating up each other and going, yeah, man, yeah. No, it's none of that. For me, it starts from the top. The way I want my gym to be, I conduct myself the way I want the rest of my members to be. You know what I mean? If I become all pally with everybody, and before we know it, everybody's telling each other to fuck off and, making silly jokes and being disrespectful. No, I'm not having that. That's not the place here. You know what I mean? So, and if we can mold the minds of the young kids, and some of the adults, I'm happy. I always say to the coaches at the gym, when you take on a teaching role, you involuntarily take a job as a mentor as well, because these kids, these adults, they look up to us. They look at everything we say. They look at how we conduct ourselves. They look at how we move, what we do, what we say, how we think. So when we say silly shit, which really should be kept in our own little circle, it's fine, you can say it to certain people. But when you say silly stuff in front of other students, then I think it's acceptable to speak in that way. And that's why I say to them, you have to be so careful what you say and how you conduct yourself, because if you behave the way that you want them to behave, then all will be good.
Summed up perfectly. From someone who's been there and trained there. Summed up perfectly. Absolutely spot on, Pan. Love it. And congratulations once again, mate, on what you've achieved there. It really is something special over at All Powers. So moving on a little bit. We've talked about all the stuff you're up to. List as long as my arm. On top of that, we've got your life away from that. You're a family man. How do you juggle? And this is something I ask quite often to high performers and people who've got a lot of stuff going on. How do you balance your time? How do you prioritize?
Obviously, my purpose is my family. They're my number one. But my happiness is my joy is Thai boxing. You know, that's what makes me happy. And if I'm happy, because my family, no one is responsible for my happiness but myself. You know, and I don't rely on my wife to make me happy. I don't rely on my child to make me happy. They contribute towards my happiness massively, but my number one happiness is my Thai boxing, and that's, to me, Thai boxing is my religion. And so if I can, obviously my family is number one, and then Thai boxing is after. But I need to make sure that I have my fix, because if I don't have my fix then how can I be happy and give the best version of myself to my family, to my friends, to my students? You know, if I'm not in a good place mentally and physically, then I'm not doing anyone a favor. I'm not giving my best version of myself to anyone. You know.
I get that. I really do get that. You got to put yourself first and be able to give your best self to others.
Most
I really
definitely.
get that. You talked about happiness there a little bit. Are you happy?
Happy. I'm content. Or I don't know if content's the right word. Content feels like, I'm happy. I'm very happy. You know, I'm very satisfied. You know, like with where I am. You know, with what I've done, with where I am now, and with where I'm going. I'm happy. Very, very happy. Because it doesn't matter if I don't mean like financially or any of the other shit, because that means nothing. Like I said, I could die tomorrow, so it means nothing, you know. But as long, I always say to myself, you know, as long, if I think the way I think is if I died tomorrow, am I happy? Would I be happy? Is there anything that I would regret? And there's nothing that I would regret. You know, like I feel like I'm living my life the way I want to live it, and that's all that matters, you know. And if I die tomorrow, then I'll be happy, you know. I won't be happy to die, by the way. I'm content, you know. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I wouldn't regret anything. I wouldn't regret anything on my deathbed. Yeah.
Ultimate, I love that. That makes me happy. Hearing that makes me happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's mate, smashing it, and long may it continue. May I say, right? For a man who's travelled such a road so far, I know you're not done by any means. You're still in your prime. Hell of a lot more to come, but a hell of a lot of lessons learned. So from all these lessons along the way, if you're going to pass a message on to the listeners, the podcast is primarily structured around the journey towards success, including the struggles and everything that comes with it. What would be a message or a couple of messages for the listeners, for anyone who's trying to achieve success? What have you learned along the way that you can pass on?
I think it's very hard to give advice to people because it's something that they need to experience themselves. You know, it's the struggles are going to be different to everybody else, but essentially they're all the same. We all go through the same thing. It's just that we all deal with it differently, and it's different scenarios. Like I say, hard work and discipline. You know, when times get tough, you just got to keep your head down and go. You know, if it's really what you want, do you know what I mean? Like, ask yourself, is it what you want? You know, like when it gets tough, do I want this? You know, or are you just doing it because you're too proud to give up, or you're too worried about somebody saying something? You know, like you laughing at you or telling, "Oh, I told you it wasn't going to work." You know, you know, you said that I'm in my prime and stuff. I'm 38 now. I'm probably making my announcement on yours, so which is a bit of exclusive. But I've retired this year. I've not announced it because I don't really care for the attention, to be honest. I retired for myself, so I don't need to go and do a big song and dance about it. I've been trying to come to. I've been toying with the idea for a few years now, and I only just came to the decision this year. And the hardest thing, this is probably a good one for other athletes, because I didn't have this, you know, or I didn't come across anything that could help me come to terms with retirement. Because as you can imagine, 23 years in the sport, it has become my identity, and as a fighter. And I was trying to find things to fill the void, and there was nothing ever that I could think of that would be able to do it. I was thinking, maybe I can go back to MMA, and I was thinking, nah. I was thinking, maybe I can go back to, I'll buy a bike again and do some track racing and, get into that. And I was thinking, nah, I can't be bothered. And I think that was the hardest thing, was trying to find something. And then I reminded myself that how I found Thai boxing. And I found Thai boxing through just by chance. I found it by chance, and I started as a hobby. I never intended to start to pursue it as a career. So when I remembered about that, then I thought, well, if that's the case, then I'll try a few things. So I've taken on Olympic weightlifting. I've taken on freestyle wrestling. I've even joined a joinery class that I'm doing in September. So I'm just trying a few things, and then hopefully I gravitate into something. The main thing is to keep myself busy, because and I've started a new business, like I said. So I'm trying to keep myself busy. I still train every day, sometimes twice a day. That will always be part of my life. I still teach, and I love teaching, but the fighting side has been such a massive part of it, and taken such a big lump of my time away from my family. So yeah, it was just trying to find something that would eventually fill the void. But what I'm saying to the fighters who are looking at retirement is, don't try and find something that's going to fill that void, because nothing's ever going to fill that void with what you've dedicated your half your life or more of it to that one thing. Try a few different things, and you'll naturally gravitate towards something. I mean, me being me, because I'm so good at everything. I'm good at Olympic weightlifting. I'm good at wrestling. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'm thinking I'll compete in this, and I'm like, and then I'm having a good session at the lifting. I'm thinking, I might do that, and then, so I might just do both. I don't know. We'll see.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Mate, congratulations. I've said this a couple of times on the podcast already, but congratulations on an amazing career. I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah.
Wow, what a moment. What a moment. I'm taken back.
Yeah.
So, hey, it seems as though you're in a good place with it, because I know it can be difficult. But really like the approach you've taken there, and a great message for anyone else who's going through a similar thing or has got that to come within their careers. Yeah. And you will find something. You'll find your thing. I know you will. Knowing you, you'll find your thing.
I'm getting to spend a lot more time with my family as well, and that's the most important thing, I've worked hard throughout the years, so I have the financial freedom to be able to have the choice of trying different things and spending time with my family. So, my the fruits of my labor, I'm reaping the rewards, but it's just that, it's just not fighting that made it a little bit difficult for me. So yeah, I've been offered a couple of fights over the last couple of months, and then I'm toying with the idea, and then I was thinking, I don't think I can be bothered with all the weight cutting with the 6 to 8 week camps anymore. I'm just mentally, I'm tired. Physically I feel good and I can go, but mentally I'm tired. I think it's time for a new chapter now for me. So that's what helped ease it, make it a bit better for me. Finding a few.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Yeah. I'm sure you'll find your thing.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Sure. And what a way to wrap it up. So we'll just move on to the final part. Each episode, I talk to the guests around similar questions, because success leaves clues, as they say. So first one, talk us through your morning routine. Have you got structure in your mornings?
My morning routines aren't as early as they used to be, because I don't fight anymore. So my early routine starts with a half six start with a coffee next to the coffee table by my lovely wife, and then I get to spend the morning with them, really, with my wife and my kid. My kid's homeschools now as well, so yeah, we spend the morning together, and then I'm off to the gym. Either I'm teaching first and then I'm training myself, or I'm training and then teaching. I don't teach as much as I used to. I don't do as many privates as I used to, just because I want to focus more on myself. I'm really enjoying training again, because I'm not having to train for anything. There is no, I haven't got the added pressure. So it's nice to just go in the gym and do my own thing, really. So like I say, I've been doing some Olympic weightlifting and wrestling. So I just want to save some of my energy for myself,
Nice.
Yeah.
On your terms,
Yeah,
that's what we're all searching for, to
yeah.
live life on our terms.
Yeah.
Nice one. And what percentage, I probably should have asked you this a couple of months ago, should I? What percentage of the time are you on it? So when I ask this question and I say on it, I mean contributing to something worthwhile, whether personal or professional. So no wasted time. What percentage of the time are you on it, focused?
Since retirement, honestly, probably 60%. I'm still maybe 50. I'm still trying to find my feet. I feel like there is a couple of things that are in place, but when you're relying on other people for the process to get there, do you know what I mean? Like paperwork and all that, you just feel a bit stuck. So there isn't much to do really. But I try and be as proactive as possible. And if I'm not doing anything in that respect, I'm cleaning the house, I'm doing chores, I'm washing dishes, so it's never wasted,
Yeah, a little bit like myself. I've got
maintenance at the gym, there's always something, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And before retirement, Pan, when you were an active fighter, what would you say?
Oh, all the time, man, like, feels like all my time, but I would probably say about 80 to 90% for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, but I never. I was a lot more full of energy back then as well. So, and I always did things as like a matter of fact. It was just something I did. Never like, oh, I've got to go and do this. It was just that was it. That was my life. and yeah, always. Like I say, I like to really appreciate the now, like being in the moment. Being grateful for what I have. I always appreciate that I have a successful job. I always appreciate all the things that I've achieved. I used to say that I was very fortunate to have a good career. I used to say I was very fortunate to have, I don't know, like a successful gym or something. And then I when I was thinking one day, I sat down and thinking about the word fortunate. And I was thinking, no, I was not fortunate. I worked for that. I made it fucking happen. A fortunate person is someone a lucky person. Or when people say, "Oh, I'm very lucky to have this." No, you're lucky if you win the fucking lottery, mate. If I rely on luck to get me what I want, I'm never gonna get it. So I worked hard for that. So I'm very grateful and I'm very appreciative of what I've worked for thus far.
Yeah, hard earned, man.
Yeah, man.
Massive.
And like here, sorry, I'll let you go. Just one last one. I've created at All Powers now. As you said, like it's become successful, and for me, I don't see as All Powers being mine. All Powers is a combined effort. It's a network of people. It's a community, and for me, what I've done here is I've created a great platform of which other little Panicoses can find their way and make their way, and the majority, we have 2 full-time coaches and we have 5 PTs there, and they're all power students, who are up and coming and started teaching and stuff like that. And I love that. I love that they have that platform and that I'm able to provide that platform for them, because somewhere along the way on my journey, people have helped me. My coach would tell me, take the gym, which meant I didn't have to buy equipment. He helped me. He helped me take that first step. I've had a friend, who's helped me on the business side, taught me how to run my business, and it helped me earn a bit more money. I've had there's, like I say, there's always people that will see your hard efforts will never go unnoticed. If you're a good person, an honest person, people will help you along the way.
Love that. And the awareness there as well, Pan, it's true. Someone's helped us all at some point. We've wanted that mentor figure at some point. So nice to see you giving back.
We're always grateful. We're always grateful of the people who have shouted us as well. Always grateful of the people who have caused us pain, because they're the ones who've made us make the biggest change in life. Without them, there was nothing. The times that we make the biggest changes are when something bad happens. We should always welcome those moments, or we should always be grateful of those moments. Sorry.
Yeah. Lessons everywhere. Yeah. The last one from me, Pan. So Name 3 people, past or present, dead or alive, to sit down to dinner with in an aid to make the rest of your life as successful as possible. Who would you choose?
Sorry, say that again.
So choose 3 people to sit down to dinner with. They can be past or present, dead or alive, and the mission is to make the rest of your life as successful as possible going forward. Who would you choose?
Just dinner.
Just dinner. It could be an extended dinner, a couple of hours maybe. Get as much knowledge as you can.
I could not tell you, man. I could not tell you. In fact, no, you know what? I'm really into Stoicism. Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius, you know, Socrates. Yeah, those are my guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I get that. There's some real lessons there.
Yeah, man.
Spot on. And that wraps us, Pan. That wraps us. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'd just like to say massive congrats on the career. I've just found out now in this moment that you've retired officially. What you've achieved is unbelievable. Being from the Manchester scene myself, and I've been trained a little bit in the gym. I've been around the Manchester area. I know you are massively respected and held in high regard by fighters, athletes, but also anyone who trains, anyone who's around the scene. What you've achieved is unbelievable, mate, both as a person, as a fighter, as an individual, as a business owner. You've smashed it. You really have. And you're only 38. You've not even touched 40 yet. There's plenty of room to go.
Yep.
So, mate, thank you for everything that you provided for a lot of us, all the knowledge you provided, and good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
Nice one. Speak to you soon. Take care.